What up, big kids? I got Jason O'Mara, who's returning once again as Batman. He's been this DC Universe Batman for a while now. Jason, how does it feel that Batman gets to be in the Death of Superman storyline, which he wasn't originally in the comics? How do you feel that he's in this big storyline now?
Well, I mean, first of all, the Justice League are sort of involved in this particular iteration of these characters, this world, New 52 world. Justice League is very much a part of it, as is Batman and his relationship with Damian. But also, so it'd be weird, like if there was a Superman movie in this world where Justice League and Batman didn't show up. Mm-hmm. So I think it just made sense to bring the Justice League in. But what I think is fascinating is how the Justice League is picked apart by this incredibly powerful enemy, and how the inevitable title of the film comes about. Clearly, they were not successful in their mission to beat back this enemy. So, I think it's fascinating. I mean, certainly Batman has always wanted Justice League to stick together when it comes to fighting their enemies since Justice League War, and that's not what happens here. So, for one reason or another. So, I think that's kind of what makes it fascinating, and also it allows for a lot more action. The fight scenes in this are just relentless, and because you really care about the characters, they have a huge emotional impact. Really looking forward to. Well, I was just going to say I'm really looking forward to the screening.
Oh yeah.
Because people react really strongly to a lot of these films when they watch them live during the premiere. But I feel like there's going to be some tears tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm expected to cry at the screening tonight. One last question. You've been doing great as Batman, and then you're also doing live-action comic book characters like in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer doing live-action or voice work? You've been doing both now for quite a while. Like, which do you enjoy more?
To me, they're apples and oranges. I can't even compare the two. Voice work is a small amount of work that has a huge payoff, especially when it comes to promoting. It's a lot of fun to promote, and it's amazing to interact with the fans and to hear their reaction. Whereas doing drama, there isn't always. You spend a lot more time. You can spend months. Whereas I would spend days or hours recording this, I would spend months doing a live-action drama. So you can't really compare the two. But I love them both equally in very different ways, kind of like children.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for having me. I can't wait to see you tonight in the film. Big kids, I got Sam here, a co-director and producer of The Death of Superman. Sam, how does it feel to adapt one of the most famous storylines of all time? And like, what's the differences with this movie? I know with the a lot of characters, but what differences are you guys going to add to this movie versus the comic?
It is something that we've our very first one, as far as like when we started doing these DTVs regularly, was the Doomsday one.
Yeah.
And so it's a fairly straightforward premise as far as what it is. A lot of it is sort of like the spin that James wanted to go with this. It's part of his universe, and so it connects with a lot of the other DTVs that he's done, as far as like what the growth of the characters, and so I think that was a benefit for us, because it's kind of like we've already spent some time with these people, so the other Justice League heroes, as well as Superman, that hopefully, like as an audience, you don't have to get caught up a lot. You can just sort of like follow along and sort of see, where he's at and what he's thinking and who he is. And so when his death happens, again, that was our only job, was basically to sort of make it as punishing and heartfelt, and like the reasons for him fighting, the reason why, or not really the reason, but it's sort of like what does his death mean, kind of a thing, and what happens when he dies, and the reaction of people, that type of thing. So it was very simple in that sense, but it was just about sort of building it to this moment and having the moment pay off.
Oh yeah, you guys have done a great job with really fleshing out these characters over all these movies and bringing so much emotion, especially to these big adaptations. Like, especially, I'm really excited to see the movie. One last question. I had to be remiss in saying I'm really excited about Young Justice Outsiders. So excited. I love that show. I'm so glad it's coming back. How is it compared working on Young Justice compared to all these animated films over the years?
You know, I mean, it's easy but hard in a way, because I think that, you know, the heads and of each, like, you know, Brandon and Greg, they're such like fans, and their commitment, you know, to what the story is and the structure of sort of like, you know, what we're creating, and it's like this huge chart, you know, of how things, what are we setting up and what are we doing with it. The drama is very high, you know. And James and Bruce, obviously, you know, like, they're different, but they're after the same thing. So, and this is the reason why, you know, I love Warner Brothers and I love working at Warner Brothers, is because of, I think, the care, the dedication, and the commitment to quality. I think, you know what I mean. It's I know, I understand sometimes there's things that we can't control, like, you know, how it looks and all that kind of stuff. But and again, like, we do so many of these things and we have to do them so quickly. I am amazed how they come up with these stories so quickly sometimes, you know. But again, just, you know, there have been times we've talked about things like, you know, well, wow, we're so underwater right now. Should we cut back on things? And they all, you know, all of them, they refused. Basically, I refused to put out a lesser quality product. You know, so again, you know, you have to be inspired by that. So yeah, that's why I like and I continue to be here.
Exactly. When can people see the movie?
Tuesday. This Tuesday is the digital download release, and August 7th is when the Blu-rays will be available.
Thank you so much, Sam, for having us. I'm excited for the movie. Hey kids, I'm here with James Tucker, executive producer of Death of Superman. I'm really excited to see Death of Superman, and how does it feel to incorporate your guys' New 52 type of continuity into one of the most iconic storylines of all time that didn't have a lot of characters like Batman and Wonder Woman in the original story? And now we switch sides.
It was a challenge only in that, you know, the original story was done in the 90s, and people are expecting, you know, members-only jackets and mullets, and just, it was very much a story of its era. The heart of the story is timeless, and so the thing I think we have in our favor is that in this story we actually have the iconic big hitters in the Justice League. The other challenge was that coming off of the New 52 inspired earlier movies that we kind of have moved away from, Superman and Wonder Woman were an item, and so we had to show that transition, you know, about how did Lois get into the picture. And it connects to earlier movies that we've shown the seeds of their relationship, so I wasn't worried about that. But I don't know, our movies haven't been specifically New 52 based. I mean, we kind of fell under that banner when we were created, but we've always gone into these movies as just as any other DC based thing, meaning the characters have the same personalities they always have had. There's not, we haven't really messed with it a lot. And so I think having it, like the original event took place as part of a continuity. I mean, Superman comics were going along just like they always have, and then suddenly this event happened. Well, the only thing we have like that is our continuity, where we have like a handful of movies ahead of, we've already set up who Superman is, we've shown some of his life, and then this happens. I think to do this as a standalone would be detrimental to the source material. And yeah, you get a bunch of 90s shtick, but you don't really, you miss the immensity of the event because you don't have the continuity. So I will take, you know, continuity over members jackets any day of the week. So
I agree. I'm really excited to see that, because that's something I never really liked about the original Death of Superman, where was Batman, Wonder Woman with this big, you know, doomsday. So I'm really excited to see that. One last question. Since Superman turns 80 this year, was there, I know you guys have done so many stories from Superman over the years, but is there any other famous Superman story that you still wish to adapt? I know you probably are going to reveal that later tonight at the panel, but it's just anything that, any Superman moment from all eras of media that you love.
There's lots of Superman stories. I don't know if there's enough that would have resonance with non-comic book fans, but Red Sun is probably the only standout story. I mean, there's other Superman stories. A Superman for All Seasons, I think, is that one? I can't. There's so many.
I know there's so many.
But
years.
but I think Red Sun is probably the next one that's most apt to be tackled.
Oh yeah.
But I'd love I think another crack at a Superman series is long overdue.
Yes.
And you definitely explore some of the more. There are stories in Superman's canon that just haven't been explored, especially from the Bronze era. I mean, even his 30s stories where he was more of a social warrior.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of things about Superman that would be very timely right now. I think he's a very relevant character to what our times are, and so I'm hopefully there's more Superman that taps into that. But Red Sun is probably the closest, and it's pretty timely too.
Oh yeah.
So.
Exactly. I hope to see that one day. But thank you so much, James. I can't wait to see the movie, and make sure to pick it up August 7th. I'm here with Rebecca Romijn, who's voicing Lois Lane in The Death of Superman. Rebecca, how does it feel from going from Mystique and your role in Punisher to now the DC Universe playing one of the most iconic women in history?
It's awesome. It's awesome to have been a part of the Marvel family for so long, and to now, it's a really exciting time to be in the DC animated universe. It's these movies that they do are great. Especially playing this iconic character and working with my husband who plays Superman, and playing out one of the most iconic love stories in history. It's really exciting.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, Jerry, your husband, by the way, you guys are an amazing couple. I'm really happy that you guys get to work with each other. How was the experience, like that you guys being married in real life, really add to the dynamic of Lois and Clark in the movie?
We do all of our voiceover work completely separately from one another.
Oh.
I know. And it's blind faith. You're just, we rely a lot on the directors to steer us in the right direction, and then they set our lines to the animation, and they bring us back in to tweak our stuff, and that's the first time we see our scenes together, and whether or not they worked out, and they do. I mean, it's a real testament to the actors in the movie and how good everyone is, and a real testament to our directors in guiding us in the right direction. And we're really proud of it. It's a really good movie. It's very emotional.
Oh, I bet. I'm really excited to say thank you so much for talking to me. You guys go see the movie and go check out Rebecca. What up, big kids? I am here with Jerry O'Connor, Superman himself. I have to say, Jerry, how does it feel? You've been voicing a lot of characters in the DC anime films. How does it feel to play the Man of Steel, especially one of the most pivotal storylines of all time?
Well, I mean, you're donning the cape here.
Yes, I do. It's just for you, Jerry.
It's the greatest honor any actor can get is playing Superman. I mean, it's just a real honor. I realize that it's a lot. I mean, everyone has a pretty specific idea about who and what Superman should be, so I try to honor that as well. I read everybody's comments. I try my best. But I mean, not only be a part of the DC animated universe, but to play Superman is the best.
Oh yes, and you're the best. But one final question: your lovely wife Rebecca is playing Lois Lane. Yeah. How does it feel to play opposite your wife as one of the most famous couples of all time? And what did you guys bring from your actual relationship into the film?
I think we just have a rapport with each other, and I think it really came off in the film. It's just like when we watched it together, there's just a rapport there. It's just cool. It's just there's just we just have a snappiness with each other that really works. And my wife is great in it too. It's all the cast is great. Jason O'Mara, Chris Gorham, Rainn Wilson, Nathan Fillion, everybody, Rosario Dawson, everybody's really cool.
Well, thank you so much for fusion.